fucking rub sticks together, start fires, huddled up in caves.
Bring it.
All over again.
God, I would love it.
Really?
I'm so ready for just complete anarchy.
How many bullets do you have?
A lot.
You're going to need a lot.
I have
a lot of lighters.
I have a closet.
Nice.
I took a walk-in closet, and after got rid of the girlfriend, her walk-in closet turned into my armory. It's got magnetic locks on it, a separate alarm, and anytime I go to the gun store or the range, I usually buy twice the amount of ammo I fired at the range, and just keep stacking it.
Wow.
Keep stacking it.
Are you hoping for shit to go down?
Not hoping, but it wouldn't bother me. At this point, this fucking whole place has just gone to shit, so...
people have always
play the
felt
game.
that.
I'll come in, I'll work, I'll fucking pay my taxes, I'll do everything I'm supposed to do. But the second this machine breaks, forget about it. Fucking, I'll put a brace on my leg and fucking... You need a rig that'll hold that tanker?
You put some stuff in your little fanny pack.
Today. I said, yeah. I'll be one of the first ones taken out. Who am I kidding?
Yeah. You drop your gun.
Do you ever think about being off the grid? Do you ever think about being off the grid? About being having a place out there?
I'm too entrenched in the internet.
Yeah. But that's all going to be gone. If it all falls.
Unless you have Carbonite.com.
That's one of the big theories.
Even during an apocalypse.
Well,
it backs up your computer.
Nice. It's important to have your data.
To sponsor.
That's one of the big theories about civilization is that there's been massive cataclysmic disasters several times over history. And that's the reason why human beings are so advanced and we advance so quickly is that we're basically relearning things. That's like the reason why Machu Picchu and all these there's a bunch of different civilizations that they do not understand, like how they move these stones and got them into place. They don't know where they came from. And the idea is that civilization has existed for way longer than people think. Not just 5, 6, 10,000 years, but hundreds of thousands of years. But that periodically we get hit by meteors, Yellowstone blows up, there's some shit happens that just fucking kills like 80% of us, and the rest left are just retarded. Yeah. And we have no idea, and we just fuck, and we hope we stay alive, we live to be 30, and die off, and then it starts all over again. And that's one of the big theories. There's a guy named Graham Hancock who's got books, and he's dedicated his whole life to this, like showing that there's these advanced civilizations that created these structures that are virtually impossible to do with our technology.
But how come the records aren't there? There aren't better records.
The thing is, there wouldn't be any. What would be left of us if you went 30,000 years from now?
Okay.
Nothing. Your cell phone, disappear, absorbed by the earth. Everything in the studio, gone. What would be left? Stone.
I'm trying to think of, some type of...
But, I mean, fossils survive.
Yeah, but you know how hard it is to make a fossil? When you die, you're not making a fossil, stupid. You're going to die.
You just rot.
You're just going to rot and disappear. The way you have to get caught in a fucking mudslide under the right conditions, and most things don't fossilize.
Yeah, but no car fell into a tar pit?
Dude, cars would disappear. Cars would be gone.
Cars
would be gone in 1,000 years. Cars wouldn't even last 1,000 years. They'd be gone.
Rust away.
Yeah. I had a 1970 fucking Barracuda that was falling apart, and it was only, at the time, it was not even 15 years old. It was 1985.
They never found anything like a crock pot. I think they would have found a crock pot.
They found things, but the things they found are all stone. Yeah. They've never found anything, other than that, but nothing would exist. Yes. Nothing that we have would not be absorbed except stone. Stone buildings and stone constructions, they would stay. But
then people would look at certain monuments and just be like, wow, who made this and where'd it come from and how did they get this from point A to point B?
Well, I think there's a lot of structures like that out there that people just moved into. They found them that, like the fucking pyramids. There's a giant controversy about the dating of the pyramids. There's a guy named John Anthony West that has dedicated his entire life to trying to say that the Egyptian culture is tens of thousands of years older than conventional or paleontologists or archaeologists believe it is, and that he is shown that he's brought in geologists to show that there's water erosion on the Sphinx that shows that the Sphinx has been weathered by thousands of years of rainfall. But the last time there was rainfall in the Nile Valley was 9,000 BC. So there's thousands of years before that. They believe that the pyramids were built somewhere around. Conventional thinking is 2,500 BC, and this guy is saying it's like 9,000 years older than we think it is, and that's just where it might be. It's probably older than that because it's been rained on for thousands of years.
Hold that thought. We got Dr. Michio Kaku. He actually called us. This is awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, doctor.
Hi. Hi, I'm right here.
All right, we got Joe Rogan in the studio. He's an amazing stand-up comic, but he also knows he has a lot of theories and stuff, and he threw a few at us, and we want to throw them at you now. So I'm just going to give you Joe Rogan for a minute or two.
What do you think about the? Do you believe that life and amino acids and stuff have come here from asteroids and that seeded the Earth?
Well, there is the panspermia theory that says that, the aliens are here already. Look in a mirror. You're seeing an alien in the mirror right now because we're made out of spores and DNA that landed from another part of the galaxy. Fred Hoyle, the cosmologist, believed in that theory. He said that very soon after the oceans formed, life gets started. And it just happened too quickly. There's not enough time to get DNA off the ground. So he thought it came from outer space. I'm not so sure. I think that, a volcano vent on the bottom of the ocean, they would have plenty of time to get DNA off the ground. But it is a legitimate area of dispute.
Is it possible that it's both, that not only have life existed because of volcano vents, but also because of, it comes from everywhere. It comes from Earth, and it also comes from outer space.
That's right. There's some people who think that life started multiple times on the Earth, and perhaps there are germs all around us, some of which came from outer space, some of which came from, indigenous forms. And, where are they? Maybe they're in your nose. Maybe they're in your lungs. They could be everywhere, hidden, and we have yet to scratch the DNA of all the germs on this planet. So there is a theory that says that some of the germs probably came from outer space, and some of them may have been homegrown on the planet Earth. We haven't analyzed all the germs yet.
That's why it's really spooky when they talk about taking a probe and putting it on Mars and then bringing it back.
Yeah,
Whoa,
that gets a little...
What are you bringing back with it?
What's coming home?
Yeah, tell them about the pyramids, too, there, Joe.
Oh, are you familiar with the work of John Hancock, or Graham Hancock, rather, or John Anthony West?
Well, I've heard some of it, based on erosions of the Sphinx and the pyramids, right?
Yeah, Ron Schock, the geologist from the University, Boston University, is the guy that has kind of spearheaded the geologist perspective of it, that there's thousands of years of erosion from rainfall on the Sphinx and the Sphinx enclosure.
It's hard to say because, 10,000 years ago, we had the Ice Age. And when the Ice Age melted, we had lots and lots of water that created the Great Salt Lakes, the Great Lakes near Michigan. A lot of the rainfall and the lakes of the earth were created after the Ice Age ended. So it's kind of hard to turn the videotape backwards to see what Egypt looked like at the end of the last Ice Age. So there could have been massive flooding in the area, which, sets the geologic time clock askew. Because of the melting of the glaciers and the formation of the Great Lakes.
Well, that's one of Graham Hancock's theories coincides with the end of the Ice Age, because the end of the Ice Age and the extinction of woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers came very abruptly. And there's actually, they've found dead bodies of woolly mammoths, thousands of them all in one area. And the idea is that something happened that created this mass extinction, maybe a meteor impact or something, and it also coincided with the abrupt ending of the Ice Age.
Well, it's hard to discount. However, I should point out that the earliest forms of writing, the earliest forms of science, the earliest forms of technology come from the Mesopotamian area.
Iraq, right?
And you can date them, again, till after the end of the Ice Age. So you would have to assume that civilization speeds up real fast in order to get the Sphinx and the pyramids to be built.
Right.
Most people would give it a much slower time frame, given the fact that it took time for primitive people to figure out how to use architecture and how to build stone monuments and things, because we were coming out of the Ice Age when we were like nomads, scrounging like a wolf pack.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about that area, Iraq, which is where Sumer was, which is the oldest known civilization, first written language, first mathematics, first astrology, astronomy. They had a detailed depiction of a solar system, including Pluto, which we didn't discover until 1970, and this is 6,000 years ago in Sumer.
Well, I would tend to doubt that they would get Pluto. The ancients didn't even get Uranus, Neptune, and the outer planets. The ancients only got up to Saturn. And
well,
Pluto
there's an actual clay tablet. There's a clay tablet that depicts the sun, and it depicts the planets in the correct size and the correct orbit. You can find it online, and it's from 6,000 years ago from Sumer.
Yeah, well, again, it's a question of interpretation. People interpret these stone tablets in a lot of different ways. But, even modern telescopes have a difficult time seeing Pluto. You need the Hubble Space Telescope to get, even good glimpses images of what Pluto may look
No,
like.
I agree with you, but this is a really obvious image. I mean, it's a sun, and there's spheres that surround the sun that are the exact same number as we have planets in our solar system, and they're the exact same size in the right order.
Well, I'll have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy.
Gone onto the calendar very early because it meant that you know when to plant the seeds, harvest. The calendar was very important for agricultural societies in order to know when to harvest the plants.